So you could not answer any of these questions, but I'm gonna ask them anyway.
Okay.
Current OKC or 2017 Warriors?
Oh, my team?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm always gonna say my team.
Current OKC, 95 Bulls.
I'm gonna say our team again.
Current OKC, 2019 Raptors.
Our team. Are you from there?
Yeah.
What you just saw right now was Jalen J-Dub Williams from the OKC Thunder talking about if this year's Oklahoma team could beat legendary teams like the Bulls, the Warriors, and the Raptors he previously just mentioned. This came just before the game against San Antonio, in which the Spurs won against the Thunder 111-109. Let's talk about yesterday's elite performance between those two teams. If you didn't know by now, the San Antonio Spurs beat the Oklahoma City Thunder in the semi-final round of the in-season tournament, which leads now San Antonio to go up against the New York Knicks. And this was a masterful performance by both teams in this matchup in Las Vegas. As we know right now, this year's Oklahoma team has been on an absolute rampage this start of the season with a 24-1 record, tied for the best of all time. And to their surprise, they went up against a Spurs team which had Victor Wembanyama coming off the bench with 21 total minutes. After a long time, the Spurs finally have their roster fully healthy to go up against one of the greatest offensive teams we have ever seen in our lifetime. This Oklahoma team has literally beaten teams by almost more than 15 points, and their starters don't even play in the entire fourth quarter. You have seen this with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander being benched for the remainder of the fourth against many other teams. Absolutely no one was a matchup for this Oklahoma team except that Portland Trailblazers matchup, which casually just happened. But when they faced off against a team which had all of their players healthy and a possible top 5 player in their roster in Victor Wembanyama, they were about to put up a fight against them. And they did. Now in the first quarter, it looked as if everything was going OKC's way. They were playing amazing defense, they were making great plays amongst their peers, and just making every shot they took, while San Antonio was still trying to figure out how they would work against this great Oklahoma team and just find a way to get things going for them. And just as the first quarter ended, Oklahoma had an 11-point lead against the Spurs, 31-20. That was until the second quarter rolled around, and just guess who came off the bench? It was Victor Wembanyama, and he immediately made an impact on the game as he scored the first 2 points with a tip layup. And not only that, but his defense was also showing as he grabbed a couple of offensive boards and just made his presence be felt in the defensive side of things. And it wasn't just Wemby making an effort on the game, but the entire Spurs supporting cast, as they all racked up just enough points that by the time the second quarter ended, they went from an 11-point deficit to a 3-point deficit against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And again, we saw Wemby's greatness on the last seconds of the second quarter as he made an amazing 3-pointer that would boost the morale and confidence of everyone on the Spurs and would send out a message to Oklahoma that let them know this was going to be a hell of a matchup. And by the time the second half came around, the Spurs managed to see how they would work against this Oklahoma team. Not only did San Antonio manage to overcome Oklahoma's system and actually rack up points against them, but they held their offense down with the defensive end as they made them miss quite a lot of shots as they didn't put out the greatest offensive performance they have had in this season. And this was also an incredibly physical game because, as you know, Oklahoma has possibly the best defense in the league right now, and well, the Spurs, they know how to make them battle in the offensive end as they give them their own type of defense and make them struggle offensively. There were quite a lot of fouls, some players were bleeding. Stephon Castle's nose, did you look at that in the game? As the game kept on going, I think most people already figured out that this Spurs-Thunder rivalry was already set. And I think this rivalry was already a thing when Wemby was in his rookie year and they faced off against Oklahoma in a matchup where Wemby had an amazing block against Chet Holmgren, which pretty much just decided who was going to be the rookie of the year. Ever since then, Oklahoma remained at the top and the Spurs kept on growing, and look where they're at right now. They are the team that can actually put up a fight against Oklahoma, and like we saw in this semifinal round of the in-season tournament, they can actually win against one of the greatest offensive teams or teams in general that we have ever seen. The Spurs are a team that is meant to disrupt dynasties. We've seen it before. I mean, think back to the days where the Lakers had their three-peat. The Spurs were the ones that actually stopped the Lakers from potentially having a run of 4 championships by beating them in the second round of the playoffs 4-2. We also saw them prevent Miami's potential three-peat when LeBron was still with the Heat. And they also put up a fight against the Golden State Warriors when unfortunately Kawhi got injured by that dirty ass play from Zaza Pachulia. But we have seen this before, and I think we'll keep on seeing it on time and time again. They will go up against this OKC team, which many of teams are afraid of going up against because, well, they are amazing. Let's give them some credit. They have a 24-1 record. But here come the Spurs to then again disrupt another dynasty and put themselves at the top. They have an amazing supporting cast. Their guards are elite. De'Aaron Fox, there's not much to say about him. He's an amazing player. Stephon Castle, he already made the leap towards a great future. And Dylan Harper, he is a rookie that is already showing up in the biggest plays of each game. Luke Cornett, an amazing big man to back up Wemby. And well, of course, you got Harrison Barnes, Devin Vassell, who was on fire throughout the entire game, and Keldon Johnson, who is fighting for that llama. So if you know, you know. And this was the first day with Wemby coming back from his calf injury, and he was on a minutes restriction with 21 minutes and put up a great performance against this Oklahoma team. And it's not an easy task to beat a 24-1 team, especially this year's Thunder. They were tied for the best start in NBA history. They had a 16-game winning streak going for them, and they were headed for the NBA Cup Finals. And there go the San Antonio Spurs, snapping their winning streak, making them not go to the NBA Cup Final, and most of all, preventing the greatest start in NBA history. The Spurs are finally back with a great cast of players and are ready to compete for the NBA championship because they are legit contenders. And to give some credit to Oklahoma, they have been patient all the way up until today. Like the Spurs, they were stuck in a time where they didn't really have anywhere to go but just depend on their draft lottery luck. And they did. They had SGA from the start and made great draft choices with Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren and just put up an amazing team together to make a possible future dynasty. Or, well, this already is a dynasty, to be honest. Throughout the regular season, this team has had a large margin of points by which they beat out the other teams. And against San Antonio, this team had a 16-point lead, but the Spurs figured out how to go up against them and win. And as for every team in NBA history, perfection will never exist. This team is not invincible. This team is not built of Supermans. And if it is, they have a kryptonite. It's called the San Antonio Spurs. I think this matchup of the semifinals in the in-season tournament was without a doubt the game of the year. I mean, the stakes were high. Wemby had just come back and they went up against a Oklahoma City team that were about to make history. Now, throughout the game, I was thinking that maybe the Spurs had no answer against the Oklahoma City Thunder, and that maybe this was one of the greatest teams ever assembled. But I kept my hopes high enough to the point where San Antonio actually managed to put up a fight against this powerhouse of a team. And I think this game not only serves as an indicator that Oklahoma as well as San Antonio already have a rivalry and that the Spurs are a legit championship contender, but that the NBA Cup is actually legit. The stage was set, the price is clear, and San Antonio really wants to win at all costs, no matter if it's a preseason game, no matter if it's a regular season game, an NBA Cup game, but especially in the playoffs, they will show what they are capable of doing. And I think the NBA in-season tournament is the perfect way to bring out the best out of every team, to make them even more competitive, to take everything way more seriously. And we saw what that did with this San Antonio Spurs team against the Oklahoma City Thunder. It brought out their competitive nature and really made them win against this OKC dynasty. Not only that, but I think this brand new rivalry will actually bring up the ratings of the NBA, and it's going into a great place of competitive nature in the future. So after everything we've seen from both teams, their stages of rebuilding, their great supporting cast and roster, and their undying desire to win will just bring out the best not only from those two teams, but the entire NBA as a whole. We have already known since the last two seasons that Oklahoma is an amazing team, no doubt about it. But San Antonio is one of the rising teams, and it could actually become a dynasty with the future potential that their players have. They already beat Oklahoma, which are the 1 seed in the West. They already beat Denver, which are the 2 seed in the West. The Rockets, which are the 3rd seed in the West. And the Lakers, which are behind the Spurs as the 5th seed in the West. Only thing for the Spurs to keep on doing is keep moving forward, win at all costs, remain healthy, because, I mean, this is what it takes to beat an amazing team like the Oklahoma City Thunder, and just keep on being consistent. I think it's safe to say that these rivalries, these games, the league, and the players are in good hands in the future.